Tervehdys taas, rakkaat jalkapallon ystävät, ja tervetuloa uuden Keskiympyrä-ohjelman pariin. Tässä jaksossa meillä on kaksi vierasta. He tulevat molemmat Seinäjoelta, tai eivät alun perin, mutta tällä hetkellä kuitenkin edustavat molemmat SJKta. Mukana ovat tässä jaksossa päävalmentaja Joaquin Gómez sekä SJKn topparina pelaava Matej Hradecký. Joten toisin sanoen SJKsta ja seinäjokelaisesta futiksesta puhutaan tänään. Ja ensimmäisenä otetaan vieraaksi nimenomaan SJKn päävalmentaja Joaquin Gómez, joka nyt siis toista kertaa urallaan on SJKn organisaatiossa. Oli ensin apuvalmentajana, sen jälkeen siirtyi päävalmentajaksi Helsingin IFK:hon, josta sitten palasi SJK:hon ja on siis tällä hetkellä SJK:n päävalmentajana aloittamassa toista kauttaan nimenomaan SJK:n penkin päässä. Erittäin intohimoinen jalkapalloihminen, kuten tulette hetken kuluttua kuulemaan. Puhutaan totta kai SJK viime kaudesta, joukkueen rakentamisesta, tulevasta alkavasta kaudesta, mutta myöskin puhutaan paljon Joaquin Gómezista itsestään ja miten hän on rakentanut tuota omaa valmennusuraansa aina Espanjasta Englantiin ja Englannin kautta sitten lopulta Suomeen ja SJK:hon, mutta annetaan miehen itse kertoa, minkälainen SJK tuleva kausi kenties tulee hänen papereissaan olemaan ja myöskin tuosta omasta urapolustaan. All right, Mr. Gómez, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
How are you? How's life in Seinäjoki at the moment?
I'm very good. Just finishing some. We are interviewing for the analyst internship for this year. So we've had a long afternoon after a normal day of work, and all ready for you now.
Okay, good to have you. Good to have you with us, and everything is working. You know technically, so it's good.
I hope so.
Yeah. So now we're living in the beginning of the year, beginning of January. How is things going now in Seinäjoki? How long have you been training in January, and how do you see the preseason at the moment?
Yeah, we're in a very good place. We started back in December. We did 10 days in December, which is those are quite important for us to break the off season for them, to start from their off season programs physically, but just important to go and in 10 days be able to revisit this time, because it's the second year of a project, revisit everything, and then we restarted now on the 4th of January. We did 3 days training last week, plus an in-house game against the Academia, and then we're back again this week, and leading up to a friendly game that we got against practice game that we got against KPV on the weekend, where we're going to be playing 4 times 30 minutes for everyone to get 60, and at the moment, little by little, step by step, we're getting better. The players are in a very good shape. Physically, they already were in December, and it's always as a second year is very interesting. It's a very different place to be at and to start from than last year, for example, and we're very pleased how everything is gone and where we are at the moment.
Yeah, in some interview you said that you're quite happy with the team and the team building. You're still looking for a goalkeeper, I think, but if you think about other players, your team is quite ready at the moment, right?
Yeah, we started shifting the squad and the approach from the club already last year. We weren't going to change everything in one season, but I think now we are where we want to be. We've shifted to a younger, I wouldn't say all, because we got foreign players as well, but the finished young talent is very important for us. We are, as a club, the only club that got the the two top teams in the two top tiers of Finnish football, and is credit to the club. Is a privileged position to be, and a perfect scenario for us to do what we want to do here, to promote that Finnish talent, not just Finnish talent, but being able to bring some younger talent that comes from abroad, that gets used and embrace the culture of Finnish football and Finnish culture and way of life, to be able to nurture them in the academy, to then coming through to the first team. From last year to now, we moved on some players that for one reason or another they finished their contracts or moved on to something else, and stayed with a good core of the group that were younger, very robust, very in good stages, whether they are very, very young or in the peak of their careers, in between 25, 20, 28, 29-year-olds. And we've left a space for 4 players now. One that we've already signed earlier, at the end of the last season, with Hinglover, a player that we know, that I knew, that we know that is very consistent at this level. He's one of the best players in his position. A very good trainer, very good example for everyone around the place, because he is very, very professional. Adi Darsalo, which is a very young 20-year-old that got experience in the Veikkaus Liiga already at Inter, and that we think that there is room for improvement in there. Plus centre forward that we've invested a lot of time to research, that hopefully will be one of the best in his position at prime age, playing regularly for his national team. And now hopefully next week we will bring a goalkeeper that completes the squad and leaves us with 2 players in each position, with a clear role, with a clear pathway to make their own individual seasons successful for themselves. Because if they do that, then they will help us for us to be successful as a team.
Yeah, there's a question here in our chat for you about the goalkeeper, and I also heard some rumors about this keeper called Andreas Vaikla. Is he the one who is coming, or what? Can you comment anything about that?
I hope not, because I don't know who he is.
Okay.
No, I will have known. No, we've done a lot of research. Everything is in the last stages. Is someone coming from abroad, unfortunately, because the market and the situation is what is made us go for. But I'll be very surprised if it's that one coming Monday or Tuesday. Put it that way. No, definitely not.
All right. Okay, so how would you describe the roles if you think about team building and making transfers? It's how much are you involved, and what's the role of Richie Dorman, and how would you describe that?
Yeah, we got a nice group of people working together towards that. It's been a while now where Richie is trying to build a recruitment department. Richie's role is bigger than recruitment. He oversees all the sporting side from the club, like Sampo as a CEO oversees the other side of the club, and together the 3 of us, with me in the football side for the first team, we have to coordinate all that. In terms of the signings, we got a couple of people that helps us with contacts in different countries and with data as well, which is an important tool to have in such a difficult task, that is to identify talent. And we got a group of work. They obviously are well focused onto that daily basis. And for me, it's only one of the other parts of the things that I've got to do during the day, to catch up with them, for them to highlight players that have come through some different sources. For us to sit down, then not just me, but the coaching staff as well, will have a little look if it is what we want, and and then we all work together, not just only for identifying the players, but also to persuade them to come over, whether it's from another club in Finland or from abroad, because it's an important thing to minimize the risk, because it's always, signing players is one of the most difficult things in football, because they are not robots and not machines. They got to adapt to the team, to the club, to the coaches, their own abilities into what we expect from them. And the more that we chat with them and that we get to know them before they come over, the more that we reduce the risk. Of course, it's as I said, it's a challenging task, and we all work together on those and use the best of our abilities to make sure that we try to get it more right than wrong.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that highlights usually when we talk about you as a coach or a manager, because we know that when you went from Seinäjoki to IFK, you had some players coming with you, and now from IFK some players are coming with you or went already back to Seinäjoki. So it's, I think it's highlights, or am I wrong that it highlights with you that you really want to sign the players, you know what you are going to get?
What I would say is that I'm very invested in everything that has to do with the club, and I try to help in whatever I can. The first time around when I was here in SJK, I think around the summer that we needed to find a specific type of players or use contacts or whatever. I did my best to try to help the club, and I think I did. I knew Jake Jervis. We have been together in another club in England. It's not a secret, you know what I mean. And then last year, 2 years ago, when I was in IFK, we needed to recruit a lot of players. When I signed, I had 4 players signed, and me with Mika at the time in there, we had to put a lot of hours in the first, I would say 3 weeks. We signed nearly 14 players, 15 players within a couple of weeks, and it was very important because we had a very limited budget, and probably it would be more value now what we did back then with the results that the club had last year, and how difficult it was with the budget that we were working on. So, and last year and this year is the same. I think it would be no very efficient way of working if we don't use everyone the best of their abilities to maximize everything that we do. It's the same thing here. If there is different tasks to do on the pitch, then it would be silly for me to do it all and not share the responsibility with the other people that I got around me, because I can't do everything, and that's the same. That's the same approach that I have. I think it's more not about me liking to sign my own players. It's more about trying to help all together the best we can to the club.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the new season is about to start, and Liga Cup is coming, and you guys certainly, I think you want to look forward as much as possible. But a few words from last season. How would you describe last season? Because when I commentated some of your games for Ruutu, and I did an interview with you, and I said that you guys play maybe the most like. It was so fun to watch your games, and I know that it's many times it's not something that coaches want to see a lot of goals coming to both ends. But how would you describe last season?
It's a tough one to say, because we all look for success, and success is a very difficult word to define. Of course, success, like HJK won the league, that's success. You qualify for Europe, that might be success. And we it's clear that we wanted to be in Europe, and we didn't manage to get in Europe, so we failed. we failed on that. But along the way, I think we've keep working behind the scenes to make sure that we use all the potential that this club have to keep developing players, to make sure that this is a place to come to work at a very high professional level, to get kids and players better, and to prepare them for potential careers that they're going to have abroad, that when they go abroad and they go to England or Germany or Italy, that it's not a shock, the environment and what they do daily, because they do it here every day. And in that side, I think it was a success and a very good base to start building for next year. But in terms of the performances on the pitch, it was we had moments where we were very, very close to the ideal identity style of football that we wanted to achieve. Probably the best month that we had, it was July. We were flying, we could do no wrong. Obviously that has an effect on how teams approach when then they play you, and but for us, we want to be a very tough team to be playing against. We want to be in your face. We don't want you to have the ball. We want to press. We want to be a horrible team. Something that I took from when I was working with Malin and with Juhai. It was a phrase that he used quite a lot. He wanted to be a horrible team. Yeah. And that's something that I took with me, because it reflects a lot of the things that we want to do defensively. We want to be relentless, go to press after loss. We want to not give up. And then we want to be a dominant team. We want to have the ball. We want to be attacking. And we want to be ruthless and score many goals. And then the fifth pillar is that we want to do that as a team together and put the team in front. And we got very close in many ways in few parts of the seasons. And sometimes we weren't able to reach that. And we fell short. And one big example of it is the last game of the season, where we've lost in a semi-final on a game where the opposition had an approach to let us have more the ball, to break us in the counter, to be very difficult to break, because they had suffered last time that they were here, and their game plan worked, and we couldn't find more ways to get close to this, this team that we want to be. And that is the starting point for this year. We want to make sure that we got enough tools to change quickly and swiftly, to do whatever it takes to get to play, like you said in those games. Yeah. Everyone enjoy watching. I enjoy watching it from the outside, and I see and I know how the players enjoyed playing on those games. So. That is the mentality that we got, and everything that we're preparing, and the new things that we're putting in place to make sure that whatever it takes to get closer. And I think it's the best scenario to outcast the talent that we have, that we see players that are brave, that are energetic, physically robust, that want to be creative, that want to be dangerous, that want to create things and not be waiting for things to happen. And hopefully that will help us to keep showing that talent and move our players into better contracts, better clubs, better leagues, and moving them forward.
Yeah, now when I'm listening to you, and like you said, this is a process, and I would assume that if we think about this coming season, you're not going to change anything like dramatically. You're more going to build on what you have been doing last year.
Yeah, I think there might be some little changes that could take us, as I said, whatever it takes. So whatever it takes is whatever it takes. If we got to do something crazy to get to be horrible, we will do something crazy. If we got to score goals and we got to do something crazy, so what? You lose a game and you lose 1-0, and some point of last season, maybe at the time I felt a little bit, we shouldn't have done that because we lost 5-2 or 5-1 instead of 2-0. But it doesn't matter. It's 3 points. We will go for everything. So we are making little adjustments to make sure that we got different solutions for the same problems. because a lot of the players already know the solutions to different problems, and we just got more tools in our box to face these teams. Because I think the league tactically keeps getting better and better. All the coaches, all the teams are working very professionally, and I think it's a credit to the league. I think a lot of people are very quick to criticize the league in some aspects, which can be true, but I think tactically it's a league that got a lot of depth and a lot of variations and a lot of interesting stuff for people to watch, for the people that like this type of stuff.
Yeah. There's a few players I wanted to ask you about. You already spoke about Makario Hinglaver, who is now coming from EFK, but I also wanted to ask you about Matej Hradecký because he's visiting this show after you, and he was one player that you brought him from Seinäjoki to EFK, and now he came back from EFK to Seinäjoki with you. So why is Matej that kind of player that you want to keep him around?
What? Why did he didn't want to be in the podcast at the same time that me? Did he?
No. He's after you.
Some players joke around and say that he might be my son. He's not my son. He's ginger. I'm very tall, very skinny, and I'm not. So, but he's a very reliable player. He's one of these players that I've been lucky enough to meet in my career. There's not that many that, regardless of the age or the experience or the expectations that they have on their own, they are very reliable. They are very open-minded to learn new things, very willing to do whatever it takes to work, very honest. There's a lot of traits in there that you will want in your team, and as well as some of the abilities that he has. He's as tall as a giraffe, and he can play football. You don't find that very often, can you?
Yeah.
So he's, as I said, one of the traits he has. Now you see him. I think he at some point in his career he was playing as an number 10, as an inside forward, as a midfielder. But in the last 24 months, he's learned to become a centre back on a 3, on a 2, to play in the middle of the 3, to play on the right of the 3, on the left. There's nothing that faces him. You ask him to do something, he will do it for you and for the team. And he's he keeps getting better. Sometimes I think he gets overlooked, like many other players might get. And I've probably one of the defenders with most passes, more accurate passes, more pass completion, more lines broken with his passing. He keeps getting better in his position and in his defending, and he's someone that he's become a good player to have around. He's got tough opposition, competition in his position, because Tikkanen and Vaniompa, both of them are, very, very complete defenders, very good type of centre backs that we like. They got a lot of experience for how young they are, and they keep pushing him. It's going to be difficult for him this season, because not only these two, but the younger one that we've got coming from the academy, Terry Jegbe, he is in a very good place. He's as big as him, more aggressive, good left foot, so he's going to have a little bit of competition this year.
And that's always a good thing. So you already said something about Moreno, but as we know, people always want to talk about strikers, number 9s, and that attracts people. What kind of a striker he is?
He's a very mobile striker that can play with someone alongside and on his own, which is very important for us. He can be the focal point, probably not the biggest, but he can hold the ball up well. He's got good touch, both feet. He can win duels in the air, and he's willing to work really hard. He presses, he makes runs for others to get into spaces. And for him, in the seasons and the teams where he's been when he's played a lot of games, he got out a proven record. I think when he was playing every game in Nicaragua in his own country, he scored many goals in there from different type of sources: headers, crosses, spaces, linking up play, gave assist. So he got a little bit of everything. He's very complete in a good age. He's been in Europe before, which he helps. He's got family in Europe. He's been in Spain. He's been in Cyprus, I think it was. So he's been around. He's mature enough now. He plays regularly for his national team. So, a very rare profile player that you can bring over. But as I said, he seems to have all the qualities that we require for the role. He also speaks English, good personality, but then he needs to work on the pitch. And as I said, he will also have competition around him with the likes of Kakwa, Kingsley, that could be playing a higher role this year. Strength that is coming with more. With a bigger confidence from his loan in the USA, and Samson that he did well for the minutes that he played last year. So he's someone that we got high expectations. We hope that everyone helps him, not to put too much pressure on him, but to help him, to see him around, to speak to him, to give him good feelings about the city and the team, and hopefully we'll do very well.
Yeah, let's wait and see. We're all eager to see what he can do in Veikkausliiga next summer. Well, usually when we journalists or commentators, when we speak with you coaches and managers, we speak about the game and the players, but we usually don't speak about yourself and get to know you. So I also wanted to ask you some things about, like, how did you end up in the beginning? How did you end up being a football coach and started coaching?
I loved football from a very young age.
Yeah.
I was playing football all the time. These days I'm not very old. I think I'm quite young for my role, but
yeah,
it seems like very far from the reality nowadays. We were playing in the street all the time. You finish school, you went to play football, and then you finish very, very late in the evenings when dinner was ready. That doesn't happen anymore. I played a good level. When I was really young, I was okay. I wasn't the best. I understood that in my high school years, and I wanted to become and be part of professional football somehow. And I felt that was going to be short for my playing ability, and decided to, I'm from a small village. To get out of the village, you have to study and to see the world. So moved to Madrid, tried to get all the qualifications, sports science and PE teaching and my masters and all the coaching qualifications to be the best professional I could, to see if on the coaching side I could get to experience this wonderful job that I now have and that I've been having for the last few years.
So as we know, you've been before you came to Finland, you were many years in England. How did you end up there? Was Brighton your first club in England?
Yeah, it was the first city that we moved to, and the first and the first club we moved there, me and my wife, my girlfriend back then, as a way of I have been coaching at good level in Spain, but I was very young with my pro license, and potentially the jobs that we were going to have, we weren't going to improve for another 10 years in Spain.
Yeah.
So we decided we always wanted to live abroad. We decided to go to Brighton because some people that we knew have been living in there, and it sounded like a good city, multicultural, with people from everywhere. We went there. We didn't have a job. We quit our jobs. We finished university. We quit our jobs. At the time, we went there without anything. We learned that we didn't know anything about English or could not speak it at all. And it was hard few months to start with. We worked in everything that you could think of: hotels, restaurants, coffee shops, clubs, and everything, to try to sustain our life in there, to keep going to English school in there. And then little by little, then we started to try to get into football. It was difficult. Try to join any Sunday league team that you could join to get the vocabulary. Doing sessions for free, and luckily England, it was very good for me and the family. Everything that we were putting into it was rewarded by getting a better job or getting promoted, and Brighton ended up giving us the first part-time contract, and then it started rolling from there. I think I was 5.5 years at Brighton, and I did probably from the under sevens up to the first team, every age and every group that you can think of. So very, very nice, and that gave me the opportunity to start tasting first team football and professional football at a very good level in the championship. And as soon as I saw competitive football at that level, I knew that is what I wanted to do. First as an assistant, and I knew that at some point I wanted to be a head coach, and every step that I made since it's been always getting that experience to be able to have that opportunity, and now to make sure that everything that we do, we put a lot of work every day into this, to make sure that this lasts for as long as possible, and it keeps progressing into better things, bigger challenge, and that's the idea and the mindset that we have every day, to enjoy it for one side, because we are very lucky to be doing what we love doing. I think that you can relate to that, and that's why you will be doing things like this. And secondly, keep making sure that we are on top of things. We keep working, we keep improving, we keep developing to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's great to hear, and a great story. And you also in Brighton, you also worked a period with Sami Hyypiä, right? How was what do you remember? What was it like to work with him?
It was great. It was great. It gave me the opportunity. I was doing the under 18s, and I have been with the first team the season before.
Yeah.
And they needed, there was a change of his plans with the assistants, and they needed someone else to have the first team. The players mentioning me and the other assistant coach, and I started helping, and then he asked me to stay for permanently, and it was great. It was Sami is a very, very good person, one of the best I've met, alongside Antti, when Antti came, and got to know Antti Niemi as well.
Yeah.
And he was probably one of the coaches that put something in my mind that football wasn't that straightforward. He came with an idea and with a philosophy that was a little bit different to what I'd experienced before, and he planted the seed of some of the ideas that then came to my mind, some of the questions that I've got to ask to other people afterwards, because, attacking and defending in different structures, about that time that we're talking quite a few years ago, I think it was quite ahead of the time. Things that now we seem less normal, which at that time it wasn't that normal.
Yeah. Well, how did you ended up after the years in England? You were in Derby and Luton and in Stoke. So how did you end up in Finland and with Juha Malinen to under 21s?
Because when I moved to Stoke City with Nathan Jones, at that time I had a couple of things that I could have moved into to maybe be a head coach already. Decided to stay as we were and move into a bigger challenge that was Stoke, and but I felt that I needed something to do for myself. International football is something that attracted me always, to go and visit. I've been visiting a few national team camps, watching them train, because I was always attracted to see how you take people from very different clubs and philosophies and places and realities. Some people are playing very well, some others are not playing at all. Some people are happy, some not, and how very quickly you get them to be a team. And I was always amazed of how people did that. And I think at the time, speaking with Antti, catch up every now and again, and he mentioned to me, I think the under 21s national team are looking for an assistant coach that gives them something a little bit different. You wouldn't be interested, would you? And I said, yeah, I think so. And traveled to Marvelas for a camp that they had over there, met Juha, and you know, I'm very glad that I did that. It was an effort. My wife wasn't very happy of me spending the only time off that we had in the international breaks traveling around Europe. But there you go. Ended up going in there first, and that was the first link and experience in with Finnish football. And then after that, we saw them speaking to other people and getting to know other colleagues from Finland and getting to understand the league and the culture a little bit better. I thought it could be a good place for me to start my pathway as a head coach, and fortunately enough, it's gone that way. So we're glad that we made that effort, because it's allowed us to have these experiences that we have now.
Yeah, and now it's your second time in SJK, first time as a head coach. How do you see the working environment in SJK?
Yeah, for me, I always mirror the environment and the daily work of what I've seen and experienced in the past at a very, very high level, where I've been in England and what I've known. So I set the standards very, very high in everything that we do. So I try to do my best to help on that. Honsu, when I was the first year with them here, I think I made some sort of impact in different ways. And I think now coming back last year, we made huge steps to go towards what I understand that a professional club and environment has to be, and being able to maximize all the facilities that we have, because they are probably the best in the country. And I think now this year, when we've started this second season, when we've given it another couple of steps more, I think I'm quite comfortable that this is the level. We haven't got anything to envy to any big club in anything that we do. You come here and you have your questionnaires, your health checks in the mornings, you got your meetings in the morning, you got your breakfast, you got your lunch every day, you got your 2 double sessions a week, you got your analysis and everything, every aspect individually as a team, post-match, opposition. You know, we are covering a lot of things and a lot of work that I think not just help us perform better, to be better prepared physically, mentally, tactically, and technically, but also are preparing everyone around, staff and players, to get that step that whenever they move forward, we've got players, for example, that will have come from here to Norway to play in the top division, and they haven't found anything that faced them there, because they were already ready here. Or the analyst that was the intern last year for us here is moved to be a full-time member of the staff and the professional phase at Swansea. He's not going to be faced by some of the requirements that he's got to have to be done in there, and that's both for players and staff. And I think that is very important. It's a duty for us, for me, for Richie as a sporting director, and Sampo as a CEO, to make sure that now the basis that we said, and hopefully the day I leave the club, most of these things, hopefully even the identity and some of the things that we put in place, the stage behind, you leave that legacy behind, and make it easier for some other people to come as players and as a staff.
Yeah, well, when I listen to you talk, I get the feeling that you always give 100% to the project where you are at the moment, but I also want to ask, because you have built your career like step by step, like every player or every manager. So I wanted to ask that what do you feel? What is the biggest dream as a manager, as a coach?
I think for me, the biggest dream that I can think of is to be able to sustain this, to not be out of work, to be able to keep doing every day what I love doing, to keep challenging myself, to keep giving my kids the experiences that they're having and the life that they have. And that's as much as I can ask. I think that will cover keep being a head coach or a professional coach for the rest of my life, and hopefully with that challenging bit, that you keep challenging yourself. So if the next step or the next move or the next club, there is a different type of challenge, whether it's the league or the players or the project, that you keep moving forward. And I think for me that would be the ideal case scenario, because as I said before, I love my job, and I give 100%, because I'm, as you can see, I'm very intense, and some of the players can say, because I love what I do, and I'm very passionate about what I do, and I think that's the only way of things to keep to enjoy your life and especially your job is you got that side, that type of mindset.
Yeah, I can agree that with totally. So we've come a long way talking about your career and also SJK. Now, in the end, I wanted to ask you: Have you talked about, if you think about this year, have you talked about any how would you say, any goals for where you wanna be, or what position, or in the league, or
Yeah, we've as part of this shifting approach of the club in the way that we've built the squads, in the way that we invest, that we've invested the money in the young prospects and the academy, as well as in the young players coming to the first team. You got to put and set some goals, and for us is I think in the Veikkausliiga, or a league like ours, that is a very short league with few teams, only 12 teams. So you're either playing for relegation or you're playing for Europe.
Yeah, basically.
So, I won't come to you and say, of course, our target is to try to get into Europe, because that makes a huge difference in the financial year to everyone, and make it a lot easier. And if you are, I think our main target coming here is not just that we get to Europe one every 3, 4, 5 years, but that we try to have the club to make it a normal thing, like clubs have done in recent years. That is something that we get every season, that helps the team financially and keeps the club improving to try to challenge even higher on the top. At the moment, there is a big gap with a club that, for different reasons, they got in a very, very good place that, you know, is tough. It's tough every year. Soon as you get 1 or 2 players, you get good players, and they're gonna take them, and that's the reality. That's the reality. So I think for us, it would be important to challenge for that, for those spots that allow you to get into Europe, as well as some other things. As I said, trying to get closer to those games that you all enjoy it, so our fans can enjoy it, so we can fill the stands and bring more revenue to the club. And then I think with this approach that we are having as a club, we got to look into move players abroad, hopefully leaving some transfer fees behind that helps us to keep solidifying the club financially, so we're not having to spend from owners to be putting money every year, which is quite selfish thing to expect every season, and that will be it. So hopefully we got a lot of young talent that they still got good room for improvement. We got players that we think that should be getting closer to get picked for the national team, and get into those stages. Sometimes it's a little bit harder for us up here to get players in the national team for some reason, but we believe that we got players, you know, the Kakwas, the Hanolas, that have been in a very consistent level and is increasing his level and his variety to his game. You know, the lanes, Vaniompas, Tikkanens, you know, we got a lot of players in there that we can hopefully help to take the next step in their careers, to move forward to bigger clubs, bigger leagues, bigger contracts, and help him solidify their careers. Those are the targets for us, and to not forget to enjoy the trip at the same time.
Yeah. Hey, Joaquin Gómez, I really appreciate that you found the time to visit this show Keskiympyrä, and I wish you all the best. Always fun to speak with you about football, and there's also chat giving you love there. Thank you, boss. Really interesting stuff they're saying in the chat. So thank you. I'll see you next season, and I hope we get to have you here, maybe another time.
Any time, really, because I think stuff like this help Finnish football. The ones that we love the sport, I think, benefit from things like this, and the more that we talk and that we praise our football as well, I think it's important, because if we don't do it, no one is going to do it from the outside.
Exactly.
Thanks for having me, and as I said, anytime.
Okay, thank you and see you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. Näin kuten kuulitte siinä, äärimmäisen intohimoinen jalkapalloihminen Joaquin Gómez, SJK:n päävalmentaja. Mielenkiintoista tarinaa saatiin siinä tosiaan Joaquin Gómezin aiemmilta valmennusvuosilta, ja totta kai myöskin mielenkiintoisia pointteja liittyen SJK:hon ja tulevaan kauteen. Mennään tässä kohtaa sitten lähetyksessä eteenpäin ja otetaan Matej Hradecký mukaan. Matej Hradecký, joka siis on itse asiassa jo 3. kertaa SJK:ssa, joten mies todellakin on Seinäjoella viihtynyt. Kävi välissä muun muassa, kävi synnyinkaupungissaan Turussa, Tepsissä, oli myöskin IFK:ssa välillä Joaquin Gómezin alaisuudessa, ja nyt sitten jälleen Joaquin Gómezin perässä tai hänen kanssaan siirtyi IFK:sta takaisin Seinäjoelle, ja kuten äsken kuultiin, Joaquin Gómez oikein kauniisti puhui Matej Hradeckystä, mutta päästetään Matej Hradecký nyt itse ääneen tässä Keskiympyrän jaksossa. Hei. Hyvää iltaa.
Hyvää iltaa, kuuluuko?
Kuuluu hyvin. Ja pahoittelut, että ollaan vähän myöhässä aikataulusta. Mutta
no joo, vähän. Veny vissiin pitkäksi. En yhtään ihmettele.
Siinä on nimittäin aika intohimoinen jalkapallomies, mutta sähän sen tiedät varmasti hyvin. No aloitetaan nyt kun päästiin tähän aiheeseen, niin sä oot tosiaan Joaquin Gómezin alaisuudessa tavallaan mennyt SJK:ssa, IFK:ssa, uudestaan SJK:ssa, niin minkälainen toi herra on tavallaan suljettujen ovien takana?
No joo, tosi vaativa oikeastaan, että tykkää jalkapallosta ihan helvetisti, jos voi suoraan sanoa näin, että huomaa, että niin kuin elää sillä, että se on varmaan se ensimmäinen juttu, mitä huomaa hänestä.
Kyllä. No, mitäs miehelle itselle, Mate, mitä kuuluu?
No mitäs tässä, reenit alkanut, pre-season on hienoa aikaa, tai sitten ei, mutta joo, nyt on kroppa vähän kovilla, kun on ollut aika kovia reenejä tuossa, että itse oli vähän kipeänä tuossa alkuvuodesta ja missasin pari reeniä, mutta nyt on ollut kiva olla jätkien kanssa pelaamassa vähän jalkapalloa.
Niin aina tästä heitetään läppää tästä Suomen pre-seasonista, kuinka se on pitkä kuin joku nälkävuosi tai mitä ikinä, mutta miten sä sulla nyt alkaa olla näitäkin jo muutama tässä takana, niin miten itsellä kroppa nää kestää ja mieli?
No, joka vuosi enemmän ja enemmän, kun itselläkin vähän loukkaantumistaustaa, niin on kiva kyllä treenata sitten loppujen lopuksi kaiken vitutuksen jälkeen.
Just näin. Jos mä tiedän, että tuossa kun puhuttiin kanssa Joaquin Gómezin kanssa, niin tiukasti on jo varmaan ajatukset tulevassa ja menneitä ei hirveästi ehkä haluta enää muistella, mutta jos vähän katsotaan kuitenkin taaksepäin teidän viime kautta, Joaquin Gómezin kanssa puhuttiin siinä, että oli niin kuin, ja mä oon aikaisemminkin sanonut, että SJK pelasi ehkä niin kuin viihdyttävintä tai yksi viihdyttävimmistä joukkueista oli viime kaudella. Tuli ainakin paljon maaleja molemmissa päissä helis. Miten sä kuvailisit teidän viime vuotta?
No joo, oli ainakin viihdyttäviä matseja. Vähän huonosti meni alkuvuodesta siihen puolustussuuntaan ja vähän huonosti myös hyökkäyssuuntaan, mutta sitten kesällä se alkoi kulkemaan vähän paremmin, kun saatiin muutama voitto alle ja sitten se europeli juttu siihen, niin oli jo kiva pelata niitä pelejä silloin.
Niin tosiaan on semmoinen niin kuin, tavallaan muistikuva siitä teidän viime vuodesta, että tosiaan just se niin kuin kesä-heinäkuussa ehkä ja just niiden europelien aikaan, niin joku tavallaan klikkasi, että saitte sen homman siinä kohtaa rullaamaan.
Joo, ehkä niin kuin just niiden voittojen myötä, että tajuttiin, että me niin kuin pystytään voittamaan joukkueita ja sitten ehkä pelattiin vapautuneemmin mitä niin kuin aikaisemmin, että uskallettiin tehdä asioita, mitä pitäisi enemmän tehdä ja sitten se vähän niin kuin eskaloitui sille, että tehtiin maaleja ja pelattiin paremmin koko joukkue.
Kyllä. Miten sitten, tosiaan myöskin tästä puhuttiin vähän Gómezin kanssa, mutta nyt viimeisen parin vuoden aikana sä oot löytänyt paikkas siitä puolustuslinjasta ja topparina, millä tavalla sä itse oot kokenut tämän niin kuin pelillisen vähän niin kuin muodon muutoksen tässä?
No totta kai se on erilaista, että pelannut koko elämänsä oikeastaan keskikenttää ja sitten pari vuotta sitten just niin kuin toppariksi, niin joka päivä niin kuin oppii uutta, että tietenkin kiva päästä pallon kanssa pelaamaan paljon ja syöttelemään, mikä on omasta mielestä niin kuin vahvuus ja löytää niitä pieniä välejä, mihin tietää, että jengi haluaa saada sitä palloa. Kyllä mä sitten on tykännyt myös.
Niin Joaquin sanoi myöskin, että sä oot semmoinen pelaaja, niin kuin, no aika monet pelaajat on semmoisia, mutta että sä meet sinne, minne valmentaja sut laittaa ja sitten se homma tehdään täysillä siellä, mutta rehellisesti, niin oliko sulla mitään kipuilua sen kanssa? Kelasitko sä jossain vaiheessa, että perkele, että mä en rupea toppariksi ainakaan?
No ei oikeastaan. Tietenkin silloin, kun jos jollain jos keskikentällä ei mennyt hyvin tai jotain, niin sitten tietenkin haluaa, että olisi ehkä voinut auttaa siinä, mutta sitten aika nopeasti siihen tottui, että oli itsekin sitä alempaa.
Kyllä. No viime kaudella myös tuli tutuksi se, että kannoit kapteenin nauhaa otteluissa useammankin kerran, niin miltä toi tommonen niin kuin kapteenin tavallaan tuoma se kapteenuuden tuoma vastuu, niin miltä se tuntuu?
Ei, totta kai se on niin kuin hienoa, että omat joukkuelaiset niin kuin valinnut sinne kapteenista ja sitä kautta pääsee niin kuin edustamaan joukkuetta ja ottaa vastuuta vähän enemmän. Ja ei mulla ole ollut oikeastaan missään vaiheessa mitään ongelmia sen kanssa. Että itse alkanut tykkää vähän niin kuin paineista, että oppinut niin kuin pelaamaan niiden kanssa ja nauttii sitä.
Minkälainen kapteeni sä koet, että sä oot?
Aika rento. Yrittää pitää hyvää joukkuehenkeä yllä.
Kyllä. No miten sitten jos ajatellaan, niin tosiaan sulta on kuitenkin viime vuosina nähty semmoisia aika komeita kaukolaukaus-pommituksia, mitkä on painanut sinne ylänurkkiin, ja viime kaudellakin nähtiin ainakin yksi semmoinen, tulee se kotipelistä mieleen. Mites nyt, jos sä pelaat topparin tontilla, niin vieläkö sä meinaat lähteä nousemaan tilanteisiin silleen, että pääsee kokeilemaan?
No katsotaan, jos tulee sauma, niin voi vetää vähän kauempaa, mutta onneksi meillä on jätki, kenellä on aika hyvä jalka, niin kyllä nekin saa kyllä ampua mun puolesta enemmän.
Kuinka paljon tulee treenattua ihan potkutekniikkaa ja laukomista nyt vielä tässä?
Sanotaan näin, että nykyään aika paljon vähemmän mitä niin kuin nuorempana. Että silloin joskus kun kävi vaan potkimassa, niin eihän siinä pallopussi ja sitten alkoi lämmimään kylmiltään. Niin kyllä se aika erilaista nykyään, että kaikki alkulämmittelyt sun muut. Ja sitten vähän enemmän niin kuin nykyään reenataan pelipaikkakohtaisia, niin nykyään ei hirveästi pysty enää viimeistelyä harjoitella niin sanotusti.
No mutta ne tunnit on tehty jo tavallaan, niin sehän tulee ihan selkäytimestä.
Niin, kyllä niitä suonenvetoja silloin tällä tulee.
Kyllä. No nyt kun te olette tosiaan tässä jo tämänkin vuoden puolella, niin jonkin aikaa ehtinyt treenaamaan ja on myöskin kommentoitu sieltä seuraajohdon ja valmennuksen suunnalta, että joukkue alkaa olla aika lailla kasassa ja valmiina, niin miten sä näkisit, minkälainen ryhmä teille on tälle vuodelle rakentumassa? No
tosi yllättävän nuori, että sanotaan, että tosi pitää niin kuin näyttää, ja nuorten pelaajien pitää näyttää niin kuin nyt kykynsä, että meillä on helvetin hyviä nuoria poikia, ketkä pystyy pelaamaan Veikkausliigaa. Nyt on niin kuin aika ottaa se seuraava askel oikeastaan. Ja yritän itse auttaa sit siinä, että parhaani mukaan.
Kyllä. Tämä on tosiaan sulle jo, onko tämä nyt kaiken kaikkiaan kolmas ajanjakso, kun sä oot Seinäjoella.
Joo.
Miten sä oot kokenut Seinäjoen ympäristönä? Ei varmaan ihan hirveä paikka, kun sä 3 kertaa nyt siellä
niin,
oot.
Sehän sanoi sitten jo aika paljon, että jos 3 kertaa tänne eksyy tänne Pohjanmaalle, niin kyllä täällä on niin kuin hyvä jalkapalloilija olla. Että olosuhteet on ihan niin kuin vimpan päällä ja parasta Suomessa oikeastaan. Ja eihän täällä niin kuin voi keskittyä jalkapalloon.
Kyllä. No jos ensi kautta vielä mietitään, niin mitkä on semmoisia, niin kun, jos lähdetään henkilökohtaisista tavoitteista, niin mitkä on semmoisia asioita, mitä sä ensi kaudelta tavoittelet, jos puhutaan sitten kauden jälkeen, että kausi on mennyt hyvin, niin mitä on pitänyt tapahtua?
No totta kai sitä aina haluaa parantaa omaa peliä, vaikka omasta mielestä ehkä suoritti ihan OK-tasolla tuon viime kauden, mutta just niin kuin joka vuosi, kun tulee taas näiden loukkaantumisten jälkeen pelattu, niin on itse varmempi ja semmoinen luottaa omaa kroppaa enemmän ja enemmän, niin tietenkin haluaa pysyä ehjänä ja en tiedä, pitää enemmän nollapelejä mitä viime kaudella.
Siitä on hyvä lähteä. Miten sitten noin niin kuin yleisesti, vaikka sä nyt ehkä sanoit, että teillä on nuori joukkue, sä oot ehkä jo kokeneempaa kaartia sitä joukkuetta, mutta kuitenkaan mikä ikä loppu, niin mitkä on semmoiset niin kuin isommassa kuvassa vielä haaveet?
Minun niin kuin omat haaveet. No, totta kai haluaisi pelata ulkomailla. Että se on aina ollut niin kuin unelma ja kyllä mun mielestä mulla on siihen vielä niin kuin saumat. Että toivotaan, että on onnistunut kausi ja odotan innolla, mitä tulevaisuus tuo tullessa.
Kyllä. No viime kaudella tosiaan teillä oli ne hienot europelit siinä kesällä ja pääsitte taas nauttimaan siitä herkusta hienon kotiyleisön edessä, niin voisi kuvitella, että se on se tavoite myöskin tällä kaudella, että se europaikka otetaan.
Joo, totta kai, että ei me ainakaan vähempää niin kuin tyylitä. Että mun mielestä aina pitää olla tavoitteet korkealla ja se lisää sitä voiton halua myös, niin vähintään europaikat sanotaan näin.
Kyllä. Kuten puhuttiin tuossa, niin teillä alkaa joukkue olla aika hyvässä mallissa ja valmiina, mutta vielä veskaria etsitään. Täällä chatissa myös Supavava kysyy, että tiedätkö yhtään hyvää veskaria?
No, kyllä muutaman tiedän. Ja teillä oli vissiin haastattelussakin oli tuossa. Mä en tiennyt, että Otso on ollut siellä.
Otso oli itse asiassa maanantaina.
Joo, vähän lapsuuden ystävä kanssa. Mutta onhan meillä on hyvät veskarit täällä ja jos tulee joku veskari vielä, niin totta kai, että otetaan hyvin vastaan ja katsotaan sitten, miten tilanne siitä, että kuka on ykkösveskari.
Kyllä. Täällä myös, mä en tiedä, tää saattaa olla sulle tuttu, ja Pyrde 88 kysyy, otiks päikkäritreenien jälkeen?
En ottanut.
Okay.
Lisää kahvia.
Sekin tuli selväksi. Hyvä. Hyviä kysymyksiä tulee. Miten sanoin muuten, niin mitkä on semmoisia asioita, mitä sä tykkäät tehdä Seinäjoella, jos treeneiltä ja peleiltä jää aikaa?
No, mitäs mä... Peruselämää, käydä kahvilla ja muutama olut aina silloin tällöin tulee otettu, että oluen ystävä on kuitenkin, niin vähän kierrellä. Eihän täällä hirveästi ole niin kuin jalkapallon ulkopuolella mitään tekemistä, mutta kiva asua täällä silleen niin kuin jalkapallon.
Pääsee ainakin keskittyä olennaiseen.
Niin, nimenomaan.
Kyllä. Löytyykö miten Seinäjoelta muuta, löytyykö mitään hyviä paikallisia panimoita, mitä olet testannut?
No, kyllä mä tuossa kesällä käytiin tuossa Mallaskosken panimoon. Niin
ai.
Mukava paikka.
No niin, hyvä. Hei, Matej, mulla ei ollut tässä kohtaa muuta. Tosi siistiä, että pääsit vieraaksi Keskiympyrään ja me nähdään kesällä tai keväällä jo varmaan peleissä, niin ei muuta kuin oikein paljon tsemppiä tulevaan kauteen. Hyvä.
Kiitos.
Kiitti.
Moi.
Moi. Aina kun kenen tahansa Hradeckyn kanssa oikeastaan puhutaan, niin jollain tavalla jossain kohtaa keskustelua se olut tulee sieltä, eikä tämäkään keskustelu tehnyt poikkeusta tälle, mutta on hieno persoona tämäkin Matej Hradecký, joka siinä oli meillä haastattelussa kertomassa ajatuksiaan SJK:ssa pelaamisesta ja tulevasta kaudesta, joten ei muuta kuin tsemppiä myöskin Matej Hradeckylle tuleviin koitoksiin SJK-paidassa. Tässä alkaa olla tämän Keskiympyrän jakson anti. Kiitoksia, jos olit mukana tänne asti, ja muistahan käydä seuraamassa Keskiympyrän kanavaa Twitchissä, twitch.tv/keskiympyrä. Siellä kaikki nämä suorat lähetykset maanantaisin ja keskiviikkoisin. Ensi viikolla jälleen palataan uusien aiheiden, uusien vieraiden parissa. Nyt ei muuta kuin oikein mukavaa päivän jatkoa, illan jatkoa, yön jatkoa, missään milloin tätä ikinä sitten kuuntelet tai katseletkaan. Ja ensi kertaa. Moi moi!